Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Okie dokie, and here we are, live and everything working. Very great. Welcome, my name is Ike, this is Switzerland.playit with TAGN, the angry game news every day, Monday through Friday. 10 a.m. Eastern, I talk about video games hardware, PC hardware, some TV show stuff, and movie stuff too. Like pop culture, right? But I try to focus on gaming, because the angry game news, right? How you guys doing? Ever Eden is here, the Aussie lady, and Canadian too. Ouch, my junk. Are you all right, guys? Are you ready for some annoying stuff? Maybe some funny stuff. Maybe some great stuff. Maybe some pissing you off stuff. I have everything actually today. Kind of very mixed news today. And yeah, let's get into it. Ahoy, haste. The usual suspects are in the chat. I did little additions to the overall overlay here, like, for example, time. I think it's important to have the time always, which show was aired when. I should have done that from the very beginning. I don't know why I did not, because news, you need to know the times and the dates and shit. Let's get it going. Are you still a Nintendo fan? Well, if you're a Nintendo fan, there's news for you. Nintendo announced August 2025 Indie World Showcase. A new August 2025 Indie World Showcase is set to air later this week. Nintendo has announced the presentation goes live this Thursday, meaning tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Indie World will cover upcoming titles planned for both Nintendo Switch and Switch Switch 2 and Switch. The event should be about 15 minutes long. Just go down the video, the description, or all the links to the articles. This is from Nintendo Everything. And you have like a direct link to the showcase. In 22 hours, it's gonna start. Many hope for the game, what was it? Shovel Knight, Silk Song, or whatever it was, or Hollow Knight, not Shovel Knight, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. Waiting for that like forever, for some reason. Much anticipated game. Hoi Bimo, ever eaten? Did she refresh? Who knows? Probably not. She never learns. She never learns. Aussie ladies don't learn, I guess. We have to talk about upcoming studios, and when we get news about those, we should mention them, right? Day of Interactive is a new Ireland-based studio focused on strategy and simulation games. A new studio with a specialism in innovative strategy and simulation games has launched in Dublin. Day of Interactive, which includes Cities, Skylines, and Life is Strange, alums Carolina Corpu, or Corpu, I don't know, that's a weird name, like Corporation Poo or what? Sorry to butcher your name. And Des Gale, as part of the founding team, has connected with an experienced team across Europe that operates 100% remotely. I am not sold on that part. 100% remotely just tells me like you have zero connection to each other, really. You never touch each other. Like, yeah, it's weird, this remotely stuff, but it might work out, who knows. And works a 4-day week in keeping with the brand name. Whilst the studio was revealed by way of public announcement today, August 5th, the Ireland-based studio has been operating since July 2024. The studio says it builds on the legacy of classic genres like pushing the boundaries of modern game design with a particular emphasis on intelligent, reactive in-game characters. That's a lot of mumbo-jumbo there. Who knows what that really means, what games you can include in that. Other team members include Coleman Humphrey, Technical Director, Jane Robinson, Fractional Marketing Director. What a Fractional Marketing Director is, I have no clue. Ethan Grant, Studio Director and Prodigy Owner, and Carl Rabbit, Deputy Studio Director and Designer. The studio says it has already connected with key contractors too. Day of Interactive has chosen to not divulge details of its inaugural project right now, but says a formal announcement of its first game is slated for next month, September 2025. So we might either get like maybe an RTS, a strategy game RTS like, or a building games like Cities Skylines. Would be interesting. More competition, maybe better games for everybody. Little side note, if you want those little things here, you have to go to Japan. These PS1 toy capsules are worth the price of a flight to Tokyo. Not at all, but they look funny, they look cute, they look adorable. But it's not worth to go to Japan for those. Why book a flight to Tokyo? Sure, the katsu curry is delicious and the historical landmarks are fascinating, but let's be honest, these new PlayStation gashapons, or whatever they are called in Japanese, look like the real reason to make a trip. So yeah, you can get them only, those keychain things, only in Japan. There are PS1 and PS2 cases with a tiny, teeny little booklet and a little CD included. Just found it like funny to mention that. I'm booking my flight right now. Oh, you have money for that shit? It seems like Netflix doesn't have money for Hitchcock anymore. A ton of legendary thrillers disappeared from Netflix, but now they are just free to watch with ads. Last April, Netflix announced to much fanfare that it had secured the rights to streaming rights to a collection of films from horror legend Alfred Hitchcock, the director behind classic films like Psycho and The Birds. To celebrate, the company even organized in-person screenings at the Paris Theatre, a single-screen cinema it owns and operates in New York. However, it turns out that the celebration was short-lived. On August 1st, 6 iconic Hitchcock thrillers disappeared from the streaming service. But like with any great film from the master of suspense, this story comes with a twist. Most of them are now streaming somewhere else for free. Here's a list of Hitchcock movies that vanished from Netflix earlier this month. Psycho, Rear Window, The Birds, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, Family Plot, and Frenzy. And those are the list of the free movies now on YouTube, with ads. Rope, The Trouble with Harry, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, Psycho, The Birds, Torn Curtain, Topaz, and Family Plot. You can literally watch any of these films for free right now on YouTube, although be warned that the ads runs roughly every 8 minutes. You can even watch The Birds right here in the Polygon article. Yeah, they have linked it. I can't watch because right now I'm connected with a Swiss IP. I guess we can just try circumvent it. USR. And we should be able to see it right away. I assume Canada is nothing different there. And if you have Brave, you can watch it most likely without any ads. And I don't see any marks for ads. There you go. It's a little bit region locked, but it is what it is. But yeah, there you go. You can watch them for free now on YouTube, most of them. Unfortunately, this does mean the Frenzy, one of Hitchcock's only R-rated films, is no longer streaming anywhere, although you can always rent it from your VOD service of choice. I just found it interesting that Netflix got the rights, and a few months later, bye-bye. Who knows how much they paid for the rights? Who knows? Let me just check the chat first before we go to the next article. Layoff in Interactive. I don't hope. I hope they are gonna have like some success as long as they don't go woke. Yeah, gotta touch each other. Wiener. Have those on iTunes. They were super cheap. Altersbeschränkung. Yeah, that is age restriction. I didn't know about that, but now everybody knows. Heat 2 is getting so expensive that Warner Bros. Wants a streaming service to co-finance the movie, and Leonardo DiCaprio is reportedly in talks to star. Heat 2 is reportedly getting too expensive for Warner Bros. To handle on their own, but Leonardo DiCaprio may be joining the prequel's cast. So yeah, I didn't know that Heat 2 was a thing. Now I know, all of a sudden, for me. Comes a little bit as a surprise. According to Puck's What I'm Hearing newsletter, the movie's initial budget came in at over $200 million. Man is a German name actually, but whatever, right? Man has since brought it down to about $170 million. But that it's still too steep for Warner Bros. The studio is reportedly open to partnering with a streamer or another studio. So the script has been passed on to Apple for their consideration. And my screen went here black for a second. I don't know why, but it's back. Sorry. Oi, big Z. Where was I? Apple for their consideration. I don't know why. It seems like Heat 2 might be a success. Maybe people really would want to see that, a prequel, sequel mix type of thing here. But yeah, it might be too high of a budget. Especially when you think about DC Studios, which is connected to Warner Bros. Studios, right? Spend a lot of money on Superman, and Superman is doing good in the USA, pretty well, actually, but globally, it still hasn't caught up to break even, like the cost of production and the cost of marketing. How far we are, I think about 700 million maybe in total. Let's find out right now, actually. Superman 2025, the number, so I have it here. Let's click on that thing. No, we are far from. I thought it was higher. We are at $552 million globally in the box office. Even with their budget, they claim now afterwards, we actually have tax forms, filled out tax forms, that the production cost was higher. Even with their number of supposedly 200 million production and 200 million marketing, it's 400 million in total, right? You need at least double amount globally to break even, just very, very roughly, right? So you're still far from that. And you're bitching around about the Heat budget. Warner Bros. Is sometimes not very smart, really not. It just keep on losing, just like Disney, in many regards. What's more, DiCaprio is reportedly in talks to star in the movie, and Puck thinks it's his involvement would guarantee the movie's future. It's unclear who he would be playing in his casting is made official. If his casting is made official. There's been talk of the prequel for a couple of years, but Mann revealed he'd completed the first draft of the script in March 2025. No formal casting announcement has been made yet, but the rumor mill has been in overdrive, with Adam Driver and Austin Butler's name being thrown into the mix to play younger versions of Neil McCauley and Chris Shields. The roles played by Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer in the original 1995 movie. The new movie is based on Mann's 2022 novel, which he co-wrote with Meg Gardiner, which alternates between two timelines to act as both a prequel and a sequel to the cat and mouse chase between Macaulay and Al Pacino's LAPD detective Vincent Hanna. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, making like a pre and sequel mix as Heat 2. That's a tough one, I think. Can work out if you do a good script, but that's a hard call there, man. Heat overall a great movie, but do we need like another one? That's the other question, right? Gotta roll, have a good one. Bye. Hey, Big Z. I like Michael Mann's stuff, but this is unnecessary. We have already a non-fan for this movie. Michael Mann produced the Miami Vice TV show back in the day. He also produced Caesarea. Both one or only the first one? The first one I saw, the second one I didn't. Great movie, but yeah. Mann wrote the book a few years ago. That's what I just said, bitch! Fucking ouch, my junk. Those Canadians, every time. Hope for Xbox players. If they never touched a PC or PS5, 4, they might have a new game upcoming. Innocuous Days Gone tweet attracts Xbox fans like flies to the slaughtered freakers, which are the zombies in Days Gone. Update Tuesday 5th, yesterday. And just as we published this article, Bend Studio posted that it's bringing Days Gone Broken Road DLC to PC storefront GOG. And yes, it's true. It's about, I think, $10, $11, something like that. So not too expensive, but a little bit late. Why don't you publish also the remaster already for GOG? Weirdos. The Broken Road content was added as part of Days Gone Remastered and includes new modes like Horde Assault. So there's seemingly no plans for this game to be ported to Xbox just yet, but it won't stop these outcries from occurring every single time Sony teases something even remotely cryptic. A cryptic post from Sony first-party developer Bend Studio has brought out a bunch of bad actors within the Xbox community, all begging for a port to the supposedly Xbox-coded open-world game Days Gone. As spotted by our friends at Pure Xbox, a monocle emoji posted to the PlayStation's Team X account has attracted an enormous amount of attention. Xbox port of Days Gone? One assumed. Is it really happening? Another. At the time of writing, Bend Studio hasn't actually clarified what its message was about, but its replies are absolutely bombarded by Xbox hopefuls, eager to take control of protagonist Deacon St. John. This sudden influx of port begging is an issue all of Sony's own creation, of course. It followed the unexpected announcement of Helldivers 2 on Xbox Series XS, with a job listing for the Senior Director of Multi-Platform. We talked about that in the past. While one source said fans are getting really carried away with the job post, others have suggested more first-party PS5 games will be coming to Xbox. However, it's not clear exactly which ones. And it goes on and on about other stuff connected to Xbox publishing and PS5 more and all that. I would love to see Days Gone on Xbox if it makes enough money, like a port should be cheap enough to produce. We might finally maybe get a Days Gone 2. I really want a Days Gone 2. I love Days Gone. It's a great game. It made like enough money, in my opinion, to justify a sequel. But yeah, all we got was this DLC, and I'm not happy with the DLC only. I want to see the story move on. I love the gameplay. I love the characters. There's almost nothing to dislike in this game, for me at least. What is your opinion on that? Oh, Eden just woke up. Okay, I only just remembered. I refreshed. Thank you, Bimo. I love you a long time anyway. 30 million Xbox players, and if 5% buy the game, that's a lot. It doesn't need even that amount. Even if it's like only 0.5% buying full price the game on the Xbox platform would justify thinking about moving on with a sequel, you know? Because like I said, the port wouldn't cost anything, I think. The same hardware almost, you know, in general. Nothing new. But yeah, fans are hoping big time to have that on the Xbox. And I wish they be able to see that beauty. Now that's news. Nintendo is gonna Nintendo, no matter what. I hate Nintendo doing shit like that with my deepest inner self. Why are they doing that crap to just charities alone, you know? Japan's biggest charity speedrunning event won't have Nintendo games because Nintendo couldn't help but Nintendo. RTA, Japan's biggest charity speedrun event, has confirmed there will be no Nintendo games present at this year's show due to Nintendo's strict rules around the use of its products. This year's RTA in Japan marathon runs from 9th to 15th August and promises dozens of speedruns throughout the week, with all proceeds going to Doctors Without Borders. Its lengthy 2025 schedule includes everything from Minecraft and Cuphead to Inscription and Silent Hill 2, but organizers confirmed several months ago that Nintendo games would not be included at this year's event. And they've now explained why. In a statement shared on the RTA's website, Organizers say they were contacted by Nintendo on the 13th June and told that as a legal entity, they would have to ask for permission in advance to feature the company's games. Not only that, RTA was informed that their previous streams constituted unauthorized use. It seems Nintendo expected RTA to apply for permission to feature its title on a game-by-game basis, but the complexity of the task meant it wasn't practical to do so in time for this year's show. However, organizers have expressed hope of it including Nintendo titles in the future speedrun events and are currently negotiating with the company. I find that a little bit crazy. You do like a charity company, a charity event in general, and you use your bought products, you bought games, you stream them with probably your streaming equipment you paid for and all that. The internet connection is not provided by Nintendo. Nintendo has nothing actually to do with all that crap, right? They have, in my opinion, zero say in it. But they go so hard against fans, and fans should finally just start thinking about if they still want to be that big of a fan of such a company. And they are fucking fans in the butt. Like hardcore, like non-stop. Can't have a charity going on just because Nintendo games. Why do they have the might, the power, and saying and the saying in any of this? I really don't understand. I really don't understand. That's so weird to me. That's so weird to me. But I guess Japan has just more strict copyright laws. But on the other hand, in anime, you can do copyright infringement of all kinds of stuff as long as you change the name of the product. But you can take the packages of stuff, for example, one-to-one. Instead of calling it Kit Kat, just calling it Cat Cat, and you're done. Which is super weird. Nintendo has, of course, long sought to control third parties' ability to utilize its games, particularly when streaming is concerned. While some might see YouTube fan videos and similar community content as an opportunity for free promotion, Nintendo has historically deemed such activities as copyright infringement, even going as far as to demand all ad revenue for streaming at one time. And while the company's stance has softened somewhat over the years, stories sporadically emerge highlighting its strict, if not outright draconian, rules where third parties' usage is concerned. Yeah. They keep on Nintendoing. I don't get them. That's why I don't like to support them at all anymore. I bought a Switch. I like Mario Kart on it. I got even like a very cheap, I think it was in the bundle, in general, very cheap in the bundle, 12-month subscription to the Nintendo Online. But I'm not going to buy anything from them. They're just being dicks over and over and over again. It's crazy. Nintendo don't care. They care if they get money out of the whole thing. But again, how can it even be a case like you're streaming with all your hardware, all your bought products, but because it's a Nintendo game, you're not allowed to stream for a charity and all that? That's just wild to me. Just wild and crazy. Wild and the crazy. But it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is, man. Good news, better news for some people. Some people have like success, but they have success. They don't think how well of a success they have unless they look into the statistics. And they beg kind of players to play the games. Do play it! Dev begs 10,000 fans who bought his horror game to actually start it. Alright, show of hands. How many of you have bought a game on Steam only to never boot it up? Guilty, very guilty here. I have tons and tons of games, never started up. But mostly, most of those games are included in Humble Bundles. I just got them in the Humble Bundle, but not interested in that game in particular and stuff like that. Not to make you self-conscious or anything, but game developers can see that sort of thing behind the scenes. And at least one developer tried reaching out to those types of players directly in the hopes that they'll check out something truly unique about the thing they have already spent money on. And this is actually an interesting game. I didn't know about it. It's a horror game, but at the end of the game, you're going to have like a little surprise depending on where you are playing it, which is wild. I should have marked it. I start from here. I appreciate the support, but also do play it, Evilier posted late last month. The creative urged people to try the game they already own specifically so they could try out thresholds, unique difficulty settings, which change depending on the player's country of origin. Spoilers, the end of the game, which reviews have called spectacular, is a different experience depending on where you're from. If you're from the United States or China, what happens at the end will be way more difficult than if you're from, say, India. The reason? Threshold takes into account how many animals are killed in a single day in your country. The more carnivorous your nation, the more creatures appear at the end of the game. The more meat your nation eats, the more difficult it's going to get. That is really unique, I have to say. Evilier points out that in France alone, 3 million animals are killed every day. While he's not a vegan, he sees his game mechanic as an opportunity for players to face a harsh reality about the world they live in. I wouldn't call it harsh, but it makes you a little bit more conscious, I guess, about food in general, maybe. So the animals you see falling in the map by the end of the game are the ones killed during your playthrough time in the country you picked. He said, in a single hour, that could mean millions of critters will spawn in your game by the end. Yeah, that means if you take your time, like maybe less animals or more animals will appear, which is just weird mechanic, but interesting nonetheless. The game is racist. Pick it up around, I'll pick it around October. A good time for a horror game, probably for very cheap, like maybe $3-4, who knows. Speaking to Polygon directly, Evilier says that he is not surprised by the number of people who haven't started his game yet, and that he doesn't have a problem with it either. I haven't played half of my Steam library myself, so it's only fair. Evilier says he estimates that maybe around 10 more people than average went on to play the game for 2 days after he made the post, though it's hard to know if that uptake was from the people reaching by his plea specifically. Threshold is the game's name. It looks weird, judging by this screenshot here, but you are a whistling guy at a train station and make sure that the trains leave on a timely manner. That's all I know about it. Yeah, next news. Are you a big fan of Miles Morales, the Black Spider-Man boy? If yes, I have a treat for you. The Spider-Verse best side character might finally get his own movie. Deadline revealed today that Sony Pictures Animation is developing an animated solo adventure for Hobie Brown, aka Spider-Punk, the too cool for school breakout character from among the mass of a new multiverse Spider-Man people in 2023's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Get Out star Daniel Kaluuya, who voiced the character, is developing the movie with co-writer Ajon Singh, screenwriter of the upcoming Robert Pattinson movie Primetime. It's much too early to really celebrate that decision. Most movies in the development stage never make it to production, let alone theaters. But for Hobie fans, it's still exciting news. Does this character have really fans? I just find it wild. Miles Morales has like not really fans. Not really. Right? It's just weird to me now. A side character of, in my eyes, a side character already, Miles Morales. Having fans? Can't be that many. I don't think it's gonna justify a whole movie. And Across Spider-Man-Verse, the first one, the animated one, was okay. I hate this stop motion, this low frame rate style of animated movies. I can't stand them. Breaks like the immersion into it a lot for me. Easily the wildest and most intriguing new addition to the Spider-Verse as of the trilogy's second movie, Spider-Punk is a standout in every scene he appears in. His innovative, startling animation and couture style make him a fan favorite. But his rebellious, laid-back persona is the real winner. In Across the Spider-Verse, he is just a minor goat for protagonist Miles Morales. Miles envies Hobie's obvious closeness with Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen. But Hobie's spirit of rebellion still puts him on Miles' side when the chips are down. Alone his style is so lame too. Like this Afro punk and black dude with nose ring and I don't know who you're gonna win with this character over to the Spider-Verse. Spider-Punk. I don't know. But I found it interesting and informative for you people. You need to know about that, I think. Eat the box. The game is racist? No. Spider-Man, yeah. That is beyond me. That is beyond me. Now to the main attraction. Hardware news. It's not really news, a lot of news, but the Steam survey, the hardware survey, just got published, the newest one. And AMD is winning. Not by a whole lot, but it keeps on winning every month a little bit more. And this article is telling us why. I just want to bring that hardware news to people who have no clue about what's going on with CPUs mainly. Oi, Godzilla. Finally gave Spider-Man so he can shoot the webbing out his ass. I don't think the rebellion guy does that. But because the Marvel universe is like infinite, right? You're gonna have some of those Spideys out there. The tide is turning. Over 40% of Steam users now have AMD CPUs, according to the latest hardware survey. 40% of something might not seem like much for AMD, the CPU market. However, that's a bigger percentage than it seems. In the latest Steam hardware survey results, the brand has surpassed the 40% usage mark in the processor vendor category for the very first time, which would suggest that more gamers on Steam than ever before are using AMD CPUs in their gaming PCs. If anything, this goes to show just how dominant brands can be in the PC market. Nvidia, for example, still owns 73.94% of the GPU market, according to the month's result. Even with this landmark results for AMD in the CPU market, Intel is still enjoying 59% lead. Even if that figure is down minus 0.75% from last month, it shrunk down from 62.3% in March, which shows that Intel is being chosen by fewer and fewer gamers in 2025. It's worth noting that these figures don't point to the definitive proportion of all Steam players, since the monthly hardware survey only pulls from a random sample of players. We also don't know a lot of the metrics of the survey, but it is useful in showing overall trends in what hardware PC gamers are using. Regardless, it's impossible to deny that AMD's share of the market is growing in 2025. When you look at the month-on-month results, so what's caused this shift of momentum? AMD has always priced its CPU at a lower level than Intel, and that's partly because Intel has such a dominant position in the market. AMD tries to undercut the blue team by offering great value for money, and it's always been one of the brand's best tactics. Yeah, they started early on with like pricing their processor in the same performance, always a little bit lower than Intel's equivalent piece of hardware, for sure. When did that fight really went off? Hard to say. I think I would say actually with the Ryzens. With AMD's Ryzens, it started off to take a real fight with Intel. Before that, AMD had sometimes like nice CPUs for good value, but if you wanted to game really hardcore gaming and all that high level performance, you had to go pretty much always with Intel. But since Ryzen came around the corner, that is changing year after year, little bit by little bit. Lately, however, Intel's position atop the desktop processors hill has seemed rather shaky. For starters, it's had to deal with PR nightmare because of its 13th and 14th generation products. These were extremely demanding processors and absolute hotheads at best of times. But when more and more users were reporting that elevated voltages were causing damage, things weren't looking good. Intel is still dealing with the fallout from that because despite an extended warranty and multiple BIOS patches to firmware, not patches, to fix the issues, people are still reporting Raptor Lake volatility issues. Then, to make matters worse, Intel launched its long-awaited Arrow Lake processors for desktop users, which not only performed worse than the volatile 13th and 14th generation in gaming tasks, but also required people to uproot their entire PCs and adopt a new motherboard. Yeah, Intel is like known for that. I'm surprised that some generation got like the same socket actually. But yeah, Intel is, for people who have no clue, the CPU has to go on the motherboard, and the motherboard has a socket for the CPU, and it has to fit, right? It has to be the same socket like your CPU is. And Intel has changed it way more often the past 15 years than AMD has. Way more often. When Intel does this, it typically means that support for its older motherboard socket, in this case the LGA 1700, is dead. In all likelihood, the brand won't release more products for the people with that motherboard. That is not really that true. They still sometimes publish new CPUs for cheaper, for low performance markets and all that, for the old sockets. That goes on for about, still when the new socket is out, 2-3 years. So you get more value, but not the same value like on AMD's. Meanwhile, AMD has been supporting its AM4 platform from 2016 for almost a decade now. and it's committed to supporting its current motherboard socket with new products used for its DDR5 compatible Ryzen 7000, 8000G, and 9000 families until at least 2027. If I were building a new gaming PC today, I know which brand of processors I'd pick. As if that wasn't enough of a thorn in Intel's paw, that isn't even mentioning the ace up AMD's sleeve. As the reputation of Intel CPUs has been failing, AMD's X3D chips have been lapping up all the glory. From my AMD Ryzen 7 8700 X3D review, I can see why. These processors have been designed especially for gaming and content creation tasks, with a unique architecture that allows them to cram in more power without changing the form factor. Yeah, you still can get AMD motherboards and get like such a CPU with high performance for gaming. Content creation, I need a definition what you mean exactly with content creation here. Because no matter what you think, how well for gaming the Intel CPUs are, if you have an Intel CPU with a GPU included, the encoding is way more high quality than any AMD GPU, APU, meaning a combination CPU GPU, can ever have. So far, still, AMD is lacking always 1-2 steps behind in the quality of picture for the hardware encoding, which is a shame. I wish they would put more effort into encoding to get at least on the level of NVIDIA. But NVIDIA almost now toe-to-toe with Intel, but only if you have like the newest generation. The newest generation, meaning the RTX 5000 series, they are now quality-wise without any issue. So you don't need an Intel CPU-GPU combination to get the same amount of picture quality with the same encoding speed for hardware, that is. So I don't know what you mean exactly with content creation, because for me that includes encoding, a lot of encoding stuff, real-time encoding, hardware encoding. Let's see what Hayes has to say. I do not like the new Intel processors with P cores and C cores and a non-integrated memory controller. Yeah, also the thing is, P and C cores, the performance and the efficiency cores, the E cores. You forgot the E cores, the efficiency cores. They need actually Windows 11 for the scheduler, because the operating system needs to know which core is for which task, right? Windows 10, as far as I know, Microsoft never adjusted Windows 10 towards the E and performance cores. Meant to say E cores. Yeah. Adopt a new motherboard, so essentially a new computer. Yeah, usually with a whole new motherboard comes a new CPU, new DDR RAM, usually. I wonder if Intel will fix the latency and responsiveness issue with their new platform. You can wonder as long as you want. I don't think so. Intel might not learn. At this point. They are not winning. That's the whole point of today's show. They seem not to learn. I hope AMD is learning. I hope AMD can learn and do like high quality video encoding included in their chips. Essentially, each modern processor has an L3 cache, which is like an access library that allows it to store frequently processed data, game levels, information, calculation, and the like. The 3D cache that AMD has put in these products allowed for quicker access and smoother performance as a result, which delivers some excellent gaming results. Yeah, everything is just way more snappier. Everything reacts better, because it's just a quicker access to the most used information in the CPU, actually. So that's why AMD is very well off with their stacked stuff there. To top it all off, AMD now has X3D processors in its 7000 and 9000 lineup, giving players so many options to choose from when building new gaming PCs. For these reasons, it's easy to see why AMD's proportion of CPU market is growing. Personally, I don't see that changing anytime soon when the latest rumors suggest that Intel's next desktop CPU range will require yet another new motherboard socket from the one that its Arrow Lake products use. Meaning the 265 and to the 285 CPUs, the Ultra Core by Intel, need another socket than the LG A1700. What was it? 1899 or some bullcrap like that. The pins on the socket. And the next generation requires a new socket. Great deal, Intel, if that's the case, right? You keep on winning. Not really. Good encoder in the Tiger Lake. Even in the newest one like performed very well. I have a notebook with the mobile version of the 265 or something like that. Encoding without issue, man. It's fast. AV1 full support. AV1. What do I want more as an video encoder guy, right? But other than that, yeah, it's a notebook. Like I said at the start, 40% might not seem like an awful lot to write home about, and the Steam hardware survey isn't exactly raw truth, but when AMD's slice of the CPU pie among Steam gamers continues to eat it into Intel's, that's a bigger deal than you think. Yeah, if you do like on a yearly basis, 1% every year, you're eating up their market share a lot. And word of mouth propaganda goes around, gamers telling people, yeah, I paid a little bit less for this CPU, but it performs great. I am happy. Yeah, people are going to buy more AMD. There was this little graphic here, this little comparison here. That's a little dishonest, this comparison. You don't compare this Ryzen 7 7700 with the Intel 13700K. You would go to the 13600K to make a one-to-one comparison. And even the price is then very similar with the same performance. Just to be really fair here, you know. I don't want to be accused as an AMD fanboy. I don't care for CPUs at all. Personally, I don't give a shit about the brands, being it AMD or Intel. As long as I get, for the price I pay, the performance I expect, I am happy. And my next CPU might be an AMD, because finally, like I said, NVIDIA is on the same level with encoding quality, hardware encoding quality, like the integrated GPU on Intel CPUs. So I have no means to buy then an Intel CPU anymore. Especially when you have a GPU with two encoders, like I have right now, the 5070 Ti. The 5090 has, by the way, 3 encoders, just for your information. For years, Intel has ruled the roost, but AMD's commitment to its customers in the long run is starting to pay off. It isn't just a matter of lower prices and more efficient performance. AMD now has chips that outperform Intel's in gaming tasks while costing less, thanks to the X3D options on the shelves. When Intel is seemingly refusing to meet AMD's long-term support promises with new products for existing motherboard platforms, it's no surprise that the gamers are choosing the other side. Yeah, go to the dark side. I mean, it can only be better for us customers, right? Intel might maybe wake up. Intel might maybe put more effort into better performance, less of this stupid E-core and power core and performance core and whatever they are calling it. Just make good CPUs for a good price. Don't let AMD beat you at one point. Might happen, who knows? I just know the stock price of Intel going down the last 6 months. I got some stocks, and it doesn't look good for me. I didn't bought like many, but I just wanted to see how it's gonna develop there. Yeah. Let's get to the rest here. Doctor Who and House of the Dragon star Matt Smith will reportedly play the franchise's next great villain in Ryan Gosling's Star Wars Starfighter movie. Did you know that Starfighter is coming out? The Star Wars movie? I didn't know. I didn't care though. I just find it interesting that Disney is trying everything to maybe make some money. This movie might make them money because of those names alone. Who knows? Actor Matt Smith, best known as the heroic Doctor on BBC's Doctor Who, is about to join another venerable sci-fi franchise on Deadline. As Deadline reports, he'll take the role of the unnamed villain in Deadpool and Wolverine director John Levy's upcoming Star Wars Starfighter film, which stars Ryan Gosling and as a space-bound fighter pilot. That's all I want to tell you. That's all I want to tell you. Just keep in mind there will come a Star Wars movie called Starfighter. It's with Ryan Gosling and Matt Smith. Are you excited? I'm super excited. I bet you can see it in my face. Lol, what's a Star Wars? The Lost Starfighter? Star Trek? Star Wars, just Star Wars. Little note here, by the way, if you're into some atmospheric slasher, Hell Is Us is getting a demo on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Publisher Nacon and developer Rogue Factor have announced demos across both PC and consoles for upcoming slasher Hell Is Us. Ahead of this, the team is releasing a demo across PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series XS. The demo will be available on August 12th. So that's just under 1 week's time. I just pointed it out because demo. Have you forgotten demos? Let me take a sip. I'm talking too lot, man. Too much. And sleeping not enough. What nope? Ouch my junk, you are waiting for Starfighter. You want to see Ryan Gosling being in his emotionless face, fighting the evil of the galaxy. Don't tell me otherwise. I know what's going on inside you. You want to see the pretty Ryan Gosling, huh? Speaking of faces, GTA 6 might require age verification as GTA Online checks leak. GTA 6 might make you pass an age verification check to access its PS5 Online features. If a newly leaked update for the current GTA Online client is anything to go by. Posted online by Rockstar leaker Test2, the multiplayer portion of GTA 5 will soon ask players to verify their age. Last week, the leaker claimed Rockstar is planning on rolling out age verification checks in the near future, region by region. Now they've posted pictures of the screen you'll see. When selecting GTA Online in the main menu, you'll see the message, "Please verify your age to access online features." I hope that's their downfall. I hope that is finally their fucking downfall. But probably not. People are just going to be brain dead. It's going to be Rockstar. We have to, man. I want to play this new GTA 6 so badly. I don't give a shit about my privacy anymore. So there you go. Of course, the changes are this age verification check will also be part of the GTA 6 in response to the UK's new Online Safety Act laws. These age checks have rolled out across websites in recent weeks, restricting access to pornographic sites, as well as forcing UK users to confirm their age to access Discord and more. Since GTA 6 will also have online functionality and multiplayer modes, it's highly likely it will ship with some form of age verification checks. The title is slated to come to PS5 on 26 May 2026, meaning we are roughly 10 months away from launch. Would you be happy to verify your age? Or find a way around verification to play GTA 6 next year? My answer is no, I don't give a shit. It makes it even less attractive for me, at least. I hope you're gonna lose a lot of people on that, actually. It's not verified that this age verification is really gonna come, but probably it will come. Probably Rockstar is gonna just play by the UK rules, their laws, and demand this check. And yeah, what can I say? Everybody who is a fan of that crap, go for it. Go for it. Rockstar replacing parents. Baby Space Driver. Baby Driver was a different movie. What you mean is just Driver. If you are conflicted with. Both movies great. Baby Driver and Driver. Different actors, but both movies great, actually. But yeah, Ryan Gosling has also kind of a baby face. An all-time baby face. There's worse parents than Rockstar. It's not about the parenting, it's more about like you're not gonna get rid of that picture. You're gonna make that picture. You're gonna keep that scan of the ID forever on your servers, and you're gonna abuse it if it's necessary to be abused in your eyes for whatever reason. YouTube is going to want age verification soon. Oh, they do already. They do already since a few years actually. Especially very, very adult stuff, because you can see on YouTube pussy, some penetration in some regard, titties, a lot of titties on YouTube, by the way. And like when you see like genitalia, you actually have to verify your age these days. You might have done it with your credit card if you connected your credit card there. That's their verification method, by the way. Well, it's wild, but yeah, what can you do? It will here. I did a vid on it. Yeah, go watch Ara Eden's videos. She is doing sometimes those political stuff. She is bitching around about stuff in Australia. They are saying even to use a Google search engine. Yeah, because you can't search as a youngster. It's not allowed. Ryan Gosling is ass. Okay, that's a new take. His face looks like a violin. What? How can a face look like a violin? There's titties on YouTube. What the fuck? Titties and pussies. And dicks. I'm too innocent. I never thought there were tits on YouTube openly. Just go on a browser you had never logged in on YouTube, on a YouTube account of yours, and just search for Brazilian waxing, and you're gonna see pussies and some dicks. And by the way, Ever Eden doesn't reply to me anymore on Discord because I showed her titties, anime titties. I think that shocked her somewhat. Latest, oh no, that's just the numbers we checked out. Anyhow, perfect, 1 hour filled. I think I did a good job. Despite my hiccups in some regard, I did the perfect amount of news for you guys. Unfortunately, my news views, not very high. I wish they would be higher. Am I not enough educational, just like I see the word right now in the chat? I think I'm doing a service here, but as long as I have my people here talking shit back to me, I'm fine. Keep grinding. Oh, I'm gonna keep it. I kind of, it educates myself, right? I educate myself this way, having all kinds of new information I never heard about and all that stuff, and being more informed. And plenty of news articles never make it into the show because I read it like the whole article sometimes, and at the end I decide like, meh, people are not gonna enjoy that for whatever reason. It has some interesting little pieces in it, but usually half of those news I read don't make it into the show. You read all the words. I try, you know.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Edutainment. Next news! Tomorrow, 10 a.m. as usual Eastern, Monday through Friday, here on Switzerland.playit. Rumble, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. Did I see like last chats? Usually it's John Thunder on YouTube sometimes. Must be almost a week ago, maybe. That's why I keep an eye open for the Rumble chat. Like separated. I hope you have a great rest of your day. You can enjoy it, hopefully. And yeah, I hope you're going to be here tomorrow again to talk shit back to me if I talk shit to you via news. Thank you for being around and take care. Bye-bye.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Goddamn right.